Today we're going over graphs of linear systems and inequalities problems. While these are only worth 7 points on your average SAT, the concepts we're going to learn can be applied to other concepts, and I have seen them more heavily weighted, so definitely know this one. Our approach to these is going to be to identify graphs of linear systems and inequalities problems. We're going to read the problem, we're going to create a formula to solve these questions, and we're going to solve a practiced question together. So how do you identify this concept? Well, they're going to have a graph with two linear equations or inequalities. Now, linear equations is just another way to say lines. And so in our xy axis, they could look like that. Now, inequalities will look similar, but they will be marked by shaded regions. So shaded regions are their solutions and where they're both shaded. So in this example here is going to be a solution to both of them, or a range of solutions to both of them. So these questions will often ask for a solution or a number of solutions. And so for linear equations, our solution is where the two graphs intersect. And then, like I mentioned, for these inequalities, the range of solutions is where they're both shaded. So the range of values that satisfies both equations. So let's look at the formula for graphs of linear systems and inequalities. We're first going to analyze our graph. We're going to write down what the question is looking for. And then we're going to combine those two steps to apply what they're asking to this graph. So our question asks, what system of linear equations is represented by the lines shown in the graph? Well, let's look at step number 1 and let's analyze our graph. So for this first line, line number 1, I'm seeing it crosses the y-axis at 0, 6. So I'm going to say the y-intercept should be 0, 6. Okay, important piece of information. I'm also seeing that as our x values get bigger, our y values are decreasing, which tells me we have a negative slope. Okay, perfect. Now let's move on to line number 2. For line number 2, I'm seeing that it crosses the y-intercept at 0, 4, and so I'm saying y-intercept 0, 4. And then I'm also seeing that when the x values get bigger, the y values decrease, so a negative slope here as well. Okay, so we pulled some important pieces of information that we're going to need to solve this problem. So I've rewritten all of these equations in the form y equals mx plus b. And the reason I did this is so we can analyze our graphs for the pieces of information we just found. Because in our y equals mx plus b formula, m tells us slope, and so if m is positive, we have a positive slope. If it's negative, we have a negative slope. And b is our y-intercept. So what we're looking for, if we remember for line number 1, is going to be the y-intercept of 0, 6 and a negative slope. And for line number 2, we're looking for a y-intercept of 0, 4, and we're looking for a negative slope still. So let's look at answer choice number A. We have a y-intercept of 4, looks good to me, and one with a y-intercept of 6, looks good. And both of our slopes are negative. So I don't know if these slopes are right, but characteristics look good, so we're going to keep this one for now. On B, I'm seeing a positive slope, nope. Positive slope, nope. So I can rule B out. C, I'm also seeing positive slopes, so we can rule C out too. And then D, I'm seeing 4 and 6 as y-intercepts. That looks good. And then 2 negative slopes. Also looks good. So it's between A and D for me. Well, now let's look at the slope. So for A, this first equation right here, we have negative 2/5 x plus 4. So let's go to the one with 4, and let's test our slope. So -1, -2, and then across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that looks good to me. And then for the one with the intercept of 6, we're going to do negative 4/5, so minus 1, 2, 3, 4, and we already counted 5 across here. Yeah, so these both work, which actually tells me A is my answer, but we can look at why D is incorrect. So D tells me that for the line with the y-intercept of 4, it should have a negative 4/5 slope, so we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our line is not there. And so D is incorrect, and A is going to be the correct answer here. And as we can see, A is correct. So in terms of Desmos, if you're given the graph, it's a little harder to use, but something you could have done in this problem is to plug in your different answer choices into Desmos and see which ones look like the graph you're given. So that's actually what I did here with our correct answer A. And so you can click on your points. You can see that 0, 4 and 0, 6 are the y-intercepts, looking good there. You can use this point here to find the slopes of each line. And so Desmos is a useful tip to help check answers, or if you're really lost, you can always just plug in and see if you can make sense of it. So good luck on this concept.